Well, welcome on in, guys, to the Fairway Files, presented by Three Bold Takes. We just witnessed the Memorial Tournament, and I gotta say, I gotta give props. Bradley was right in picking Viktor Hovland to win. So, real quick, round of applause
Well,
for Bradley. I do want to mention this though. Name another golf show where they pick the winners right. Come on, man. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's awesome. It's awesome. And I do want to say that all of our picks really, including the dark horses, ended up playing well. So I did want to mention that. Bradley, if you would like to say something about you being right and proving us all wrong, you go right ahead. The floor is yours.
well, first of all, it's a good day for the Fairway Files and for Bradley Jackson. Man, super impressed with Viktor Hovland. He just showed up today. He shot 200 today. He actually had a Tiger moment where he was on 15 and he ducked that chip that went like a foot, and that could have spiraled his round and set him back, but he ended up saving par, if I'm not mistaken, on that, and battling through. But he shot 2 under, had a great back nine. Only had one bogey on the back nine, and another thing that I want to say is Denny McCarthy, his round. I'm checking my facts here, but one bogey the whole round, and it was on 18.
Yep.
Hate to see it, because he played a great 4 days of golf, but I was watching Viktor in the locker room when it happened, and Viktor looked like he was ready for business. So, but Jacob.
Well, Patrick Cantlay was in contention after 2 days, and then he went, what was it? I think it was like 8 over in the last 2 days, 6 over today. That was my pick. Guys, if you haven't watched the before video of the Memorial, I was feeling really good about it. Congratulations to Bradley. He picked it right for Viktor to win. And I don't know about y'all, but personally, I don't like to see a playoff end in a they win by a bogey, win because the other player had a bogey. Me personally, y'all may be different and disagree with me there. But congratulations to Viktor, first time since 2021 that he's won. He proved Bradley himself wrong whenever he said he's not a Sunday golfer and snuck in there after McCarthy bogeyed 18. But Freddie was almost right. Scotty Scheffler started to get warm on Sunday, started making some putts. Just had a crucial bogey on 17 that really knocked him out of maybe the possible playoff here. But yeah, that's what I got. Rory, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I wasn't able to watch after his first few holes. Last time I looked, Rory was at 7 under. Then I checked back again. He was at 4 under. Thought Roy might have it for a little bit. What do you think about his play, Freddie?
Yeah, it was one of them things where Rory is being, and I hate to say this, but he's being 2023 Rory. So far this year, and even like the tail end of last year, he's been struggling on Sundays. There has been many golf tournaments, where he was in the hunt heading into the weekend, played 3 great rounds of golf, even 2 rounds of golf, and then something happens. And I want to say this, like, in my opinion, he played the same today that he played on Saturday. The difference is that he was able to get up and down. I want to say he hit like the same number of greens today that he did on Saturday. And on Saturday, he shot 2 under, and then today he shot 5 over. And it was more of a stressful round of golf today. And I think that's the key on Sunday when you're in contention, you're leading, what have you. Those up and downs for par, become way more stressful. And I think that's what got to him, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I did want to say something about Scotty Scheffler. On the weekend, he shot 68 and then 67. His putter finally got going, but McLovin, you mentioned the bogey that he had. I want to take it back further to hole 10. He had a 3-footer pretty much tap in for 3 birdies in a row, and he pushed it. And it's those little things like that that really baffles me. Like, he was still 6 under this tournament and lost by 1, and he had those putts over and over this week where he just missed them. And it was uncharacteristic putts. And it leads me to believe that, like, if he gets his putter going, I don't see anybody beating this guy. I mean, tee to green, he's the best in the field. And putting yet again this week, he was below and into the late 60s in the players that were even in the field. And so that's very concerning, especially with the U.S. Open coming up. The U.S. Open is known for having thick roughs and really hard greens. But we'll get to, that next week in the next coming episodes. But I did want to mention that McCarthy, I always like seeing first wins on the PGA Tour, especially at an elevated event, a designated event like this one. I think it's very cool, very sweet. However, when the pressure was there and the pressure mounted, he couldn't get it done. So who of the golfers that you really watched this weekend really disappointed you? I know we've kind of already touched on Rory, and even like we haven't even mentioned Hideki Matsuyama. I mean, just who did you watch this weekend that really disappointed you that you wasn't really expecting?
So I'm gonna go with my sleeper pick and Jacob's sleeper pick. Jordan Spieth was mine. He didn't have a terrible round, but he just had an okay round. He had 2 bogeys to start off, 1 and 4, and those were his only 2 bogeys on the day. He did have an eagle and 1 birdie, but other than that, I mean, he was just playing par golf. There was a point where I thought he was really gonna make a run for it, and I mean, he was just fighting for par pretty much all day. It was a little disappointing on my end. Jacob, are you going to talk about Ricky? All right, I'll leave that for you then. Again, I've gotten my notes with Scotty. Said this last week. I'm going to say it this week. Too little, too late. I mean, barely making the cut, and, props to him. Barely made the cut. He was at 3 over going into Saturday, and he ended up in solo third. I mean, not very many people do that, but he needs to get, like you said, he needs to get the putter going. I will have a little answer to your question because you said, who can beat Scotty when he's got his putting going? And the answer is Brooks Koepka. That was mainly for you, Freddie. But yeah, a little disappointed with Spieth. Also, So was very disappointed. I thought, living in Korea for a little bit, I'm a supporter of the South Korean golfers. I thought he was going to make a push, but, he just kind of fell off and couldn't find his golf swing. So, Jacob, what you got?
Bradley, that was a great bridge to what I'm about to say about Ricky Fowler, man. I mean, if you take out the last 5 holes of the tournament, Ricky may have won this thing by, 5-6 shots. It's the last 5-6 holes on Saturday and Sunday. Now, granted, Saturday he was 2 under, but he was 4 over. I think he bogeyed 4 the last 5. And then same thing today almost. I mean, just I don't know what what's the problem with the last 4 or 5 holes? I mean, I didn't really see anybody else doing that. I don't know if it was maybe fatigue. I mean, we never know. But he was making some putts early on, kind of getting the hopes up and everything, and then it was like those last 4 or 5 holes was just getting them each day. It was kind of odd. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that where back to back days. Uh, is the same holes that gives one guy the problem. Another one I'll talk about. What did you say, Freddie? Did you say we're disappointed? I don't know if I'm disappointed. I'm kind of I don't know. It's Lee Hodges, our hometown guy. We all root for him really hard. He was 5 under going into the final day today, and I can't remember. It's been a little while since he maybe has been in this before, so he was 4 over. Made a couple birdies, but was just making. I didn't really get to watch him. You guys may be able to tell me what happened, but was really impressed with his first 3 rounds, and was just hoping he had tried 1 or 2 under each day. Was hoping maybe he could just do that and maybe have a shot. A long shot, a kid from our town. So kind of disappointed with him. I mean, still with finished tied 12th, but we know he can play better than that. So, Freddie.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go, and the biggest thing for Lee I've noticed is his ability to hit fairways. When he doesn't hit fairways, his score is nowhere near what it is when he actually is hitting fairways, because he is a very good putter. That's one of his stronger suits in his game is his putting. But today he just struggled off the tee. There were multiple holes where missing left, missing right. I mean, on hole 1, he missed left and ended up making par. And I was like, okay, well, he's got the wedges dialed today. He can actually scramble a little bit. And then he bogeyed 3. And then on 4, he made a 36-footer for birdie to get back to level par for the day. And I was like, all right, here we go. But he just couldn't get anything going for the rest of the day. And it is disappointing to see that type of performance on a Sunday. But this is his, second full year on tour. The next closest he's had to, a moment like this was the American Express, I think in 2021, when he was still on the Korn Ferry Tour, or it may have been his actual rookie year. So I think he finished top, I think he was 6th or maybe even, top 3 in that tournament. So that's kind of been the only one that's, he's had the experience in. 3rd, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So, and then I also want to bring up one other one, and that's, I kind of mentioned him earlier, Hideki Matsuyama. Shot even par first day, 5 under, heading into the weekend, and then 75, 76. That's not going to get it done. Masters champion, we know he can play golf. He's just got to be able to get it done. So, he and I think David Lipsky had the worst round of all the players that were in contention. He was 5 over today. And then you have a bunch at, 4 over. So I think that's very, interesting to look at. And also interesting that Scotty Scheffler was 5 under. And then you got players that were up at the top that was 5 over. I mean, that's a 10-shot difference. I mean, that's unreal. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun tournament. The second tournament in a row where there was a playoff. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's just good golf. Is there anything else that you guys would like to say on this tournament?
Yeah. One of the questions I believe we asked in the last video, we were talking about, life on the line. We need somebody to finish in the top 10 to save my life. I picked Colin Morikawa. Colin was actually 4 under going into today and had to withdraw because of his back, I believe. So I was a little disappointed in that because he shot a 68 in round 3 to put him there. And so I was really hoping he would make a push today. He hasn't won in a while. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with earlier when you were talking about Rory. He's just all over the place today. I was watching, and the announcers were like, Rory made an adjustment with his driver and switched out his driver today, but there was no need for it. His driving today wasn't the root of his issue. The root of his issue was if he was 97 yards in, he couldn't hit it, a fairway or a green. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. He's just all over the place. I was looking at his score line earlier, and it was like red, green, red, green, red, green, and I thought we were getting ready for Christmas. So, but yeah, that's all I got. Jacob, you got anything you want to say before we get off? Fred?
McClellan, you getting ready to say something?
No, I was just saying Zeus is eating dog food, so that's why I got myself muted. So that I don't have anything else. Very fun to watch. But okay, do you guys mind if I give a little rant or something right now? Something that's bothering me as a avid golf watcher. What the heck is going on with this ESPN, CBS stuff? I mean, like, you have to have ESPN Plus to watch the days, and sometimes there's not even a main feed. Yeah. Like, I tried to watch this morning, and there wasn't even a main feed, so I just turned on Scheffler and Rahm, I think it was their group, and watched some of that.
The reason why is because it was on the Golf Channel. So the only way ESPN Plus works is if it's not on either the Golf Channel at that point or CBS. They're the other coverage. So the Thursday, Friday rounds will mainly be on ESPN Plus, mainly throughout the day. Then the weekend obviously is regular TV.
See, I just wish they'd get that figured out, man. Like, I don't want to have to jump through 6 hoops to get to be able to watch, and see, like, there's like during Thursday and Friday when Lee was in contention, I was trying to watch him for a good bit, but it's just a struggle. That's just one thing that frustrates me, man. I gotta check and see if it's on ESPN Plus or CBS or PGA, whatever you said, PGA, the Tour channel. It's just frustrating, man. I wish there was an easier way we could do this, but I understand with all the TV rights and everything.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's very interesting to bring up.
I do have one more thing to say, and it goes back to my point that I made last video and the short that you made about it. When Viktor Hovland hit that putt to win the tournament, the announcer didn't say a single word, and all you heard was the crowd roar when the ball went in the hole, and it was absolutely beautiful. You can't tell me otherwise. The announcers don't need to be talking in the backswing. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, they didn't say anything when the putt went in, but they were building it up beforehand. But I hear you.
They didn't say a single word when he took over his ball.
I hear you. And I think the difference is because it was Viktor Hovland. Everybody knows Viktor Hovland.
They didn't have to tell about it.
Yeah. Wasn't Grilo or grilled cheese, whatever his name is.
Grilled cheese. One last thing before we go, Jon Rahm, get your crap together, dog. You're supposed to be the number one in the world, and I don't understand. 74 on the weekend after a 70 and 70. You got to get it figured out. That I don't even want to go deep into that. He's the world number one. He's the number one in the FedEx Cup points. Actually, Scotty Scheffler is world number one, but Jon Rahm is number one in FedEx Cup. He needs to get it together. I'm sick and tired of seeing somebody so talented and so good playing so bad consistently. I said it last video. I'll say it again. Scotty Scheffler, even though his putting wasn't great past 2 weeks, he's finished one or two off the pace. That's the type of consistency that a world number one should have. End of rant on that. That's going to be a YouTube short too, because I hope Jon Rahm sees that.
Looks captain president 2024.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for the Memorial Tournament. We're looking forward to the U.S. Open. That's the next, major and big tournament that we're going to talk about. If anything interesting happens at the Canadian Open, we will be here to give our thoughts at the end of that one. Don't know if we're going to do a preview for that one. We will see. But, guys, I appreciate you watching. Again, the Fairway Files presented by Three Ball Takes. Go check us out. Appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great, great rest of your Sunday and your week. Peace.
Peace.